Welcome. Let's go ahead and begin. We'll start in mountain pose. Just take your time and come up to a standing position. Just continue to set up and prepare for your practice. And eventually just make your way up to a mountain pose, where we take a few moments just to prepare, arrive, connect. This first connection you might make here is connection to the earth. Feel the ground underneath you. You might even take a breath in. And when you exhale, just imagine that breath going down the body, down through your legs and down through the bottoms of your feet as you root and connect to the earth. And while you've made this connection to breath, just continue to be mindful of your breath. A reminder that breath is the foundation of our practice. It allows us to be here in the moment, connecting, moving inward. And after our stillness and meditation and breath work here, breath will help guide and move us through the practice. And even a reminder here that this is your practice. Listen to your body. Pay attention. Move as you need to move. Modify postures as you need to. Rest when you need to. As you breathe in, just feel the breath rising upward, filling up your lungs, just adding a little bit more energy to this breath connection. And as you exhale, just draw your navel inward towards your spine. Just a light contraction of your abdominal muscles, the abdominal lock. Again, a breath in, feeling the lengthening in the spine, lungs expanding. Exhale, connecting to your center. Our work today will involve some deep lunges, so getting into our legs and hips. Squats, also getting to our hips and feet. And working our way towards crow pose, an arm balancing posture. Let's take 3 more breaths as we prepare our bodies to move. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Just treat it like a nice stretch all the way up. And exhale, we'll fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to as you make your way down towards your toes. Now this first time, you don't have to touch your toes. And then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or your knees and extend your spine. Feel like you're coming forward, creating that nice length in the upper body. Exhale, just fold. Make your way back down to a forward fold. We'll pause here for several breaths. Again, you can fold deeply and maybe touch the ground, touch your toes. Or if you need to modify, maybe your hands are resting lightly on your shins or knees so you don't have to fold all the way down. And wherever you are, just an awareness of the sensations in your body, the lengthening through your hamstrings perhaps and lower glutes. If you happen to be hanging heavily forward, notice the curvature in the spine, the heaviness in the upper body. Even shake out your shoulders a little bit if you're able. Roll your shoulders, making circles a few times backward, maybe a few times forward. And then your head and neck. You just nod yes a few times, shake your head no. That's it. Let's get ready to stand. First, shift your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, lower your hips like you're sitting down into a low chair, extending your spine, long flat back. Maybe take your arms out to the side, then we'll stand up. Straightening your legs. Long torso, reach up into the sky. There we are. Exhale, you can bring your hands to your heart center or even bring your arms down to your side. And just hold for a breath. Let's go through that half salute again. Whenever you're ready, inhale, taking arms out and up. Nice lengthening through the sides of the body. Exhale, leading with your heart, fold forward. Bend your knees as much as you need to, perhaps touching the ground or your toes or your shins. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, long, flat back like you were a table. Exhale, folding back down, releasing head, neck, and shoulders at the end. Moving right away, shifting weight into the heels, bend your knees, then inhale to reverse your swan dive, coming all the way back up. Get even taller as you're able, reaching higher. Yes. Exhale, hands to heart or arms to your side. That's it. Good. Anytime we come back to mountain pose, just check in with your body. Maybe little circles in the shoulders, check in with your neck. Even work your way down the body, your hips, your knees, your feet. Yeah. Let's continue with our sun salutation. Inhale, taking your arms out and up. Big stretch. Exhale, fold forward. And inhale, we'll rise up halfway or just feel that nice extension of the spine. As we fold, coming all the way down, hands out in front of you on the mat so you can walk or step or even hop both feet back to the back end of your mat, drawing a straight line in the body as you arrive in plank pose. Nice strong position. Let's hold here for several breaths, pressing firmly, strongly into the ground. Feel the energy in your arms, right up into your shoulders and upper back. Let's breathe in. And exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. This is our shortcut to downward facing dog. You might need to adjust your feet, even adjust your hands as you need to help settle into the pose. And as you arrive, you can just kind of settle, come to stillness, but then feel free to move the body. That might be a pedaling of the feet, stretching your calves and toes, bend the knees like you are walking, even shift your hips side to side. You can even rest if you need to. If you need to come out of the downward facing, you can always bring your knees to the ground and maybe come to a child's pose. Let's go ahead and continue with the lunge sequence here. Whenever you're ready, and inhale to lift the right foot and extend your right leg back behind you, finding the wall. And your exhale, let's guide right foot up to the top of the mat, next to right hand. Landing there, we'll turn the left heel to the floor behind you, creating a lunge, yes? Finding your center by shifting the weight back so your hands are light, so you can easily hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air, facing forward, arms up, warrior one. And then we'll just fold, hinge at the hips, fold, bring your hands back down to the floor, and then pull or slide the right foot back, arriving in plank pose. Again, that same press or strong connection into the earth with the hands, energized arms. You can take that same shortcut to downward facing dog by lifting the hips, or bend your elbows, squeeze them in towards ribs, and lower your way down to Chaturanga Dandasana, the bottom of the push-up here. And then your back bend. It might be cobra pose or upward facing dog, or somewhere in between. Then exhale onto the toes, lifting the knees and hips, downward facing dog. Adjusting feet and hands. And we'll do the other side. Whenever you're ready, and inhale, extending left leg up behind you. There it is. Exhale, extend left foot to the top of the mat. Big step through. Once landed, turn right heel to the floor behind you. Shift your weight back into that foot so your hands are light. Yes, you can easily hinge from hips, rising up, reaching into the air, facing forward. There it is. Exhale, hinge and fold. Bring the hands back down to the ground. Plant them strongly as you slide the left foot back, plank pose. Same thing. You can take that same shortcut to down dog or finish that vinyasa or the flow. Bend the elbows, lower your way down. Find a back bend. That's it. And downward facing. Good. Take a nice full breath in. As you exhale, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet here. Inhale, extend the spine. A fold, which we'll pause for a few seconds just so you can feel continued lengthening through the backs of the legs. And then a weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come all the way up, reaching high. We're going to keep the body in motion here. As you exhale, take chair pose or a chair-like position. The weight shifts back into your hips and heels. Outstretched arms, just help with balance. Here we go, breathing in And our exhale, diving out of the seat towards toes, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, extend the spine, or monkey pose, all the same. Exhale, bend your knees, hands to the floor, hop or step back, plank pose. Come down if you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana. Yeah, modify that if you need to. You can bring knees to the floor first, then the chest. Inhale to a back bend, keep it low if you need to. And exhale, downward facing dog, settling into the posture, arriving. That's it. More lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Let's open this up. You're going to bend your knee, bring your heel down toward your backside. Just a good bend in the knee. And then lift that knee up towards the ceiling. Just a little bit will do, which will automatically turn your hips towards the right side of the room. Creates a little bit of a twist in the spine. That's it. Breathe in right here. Then exhale to unwind and then step through. Right foot returns to the top of the mat in your right hand. Left heel turns to the floor behind you. Weight shift back into that foot so you're balanced. Light hands hinge from hips, rising up, first warrior. Exhale, opening to your left side of the room for warrior two. Good, nice alignment. Being sure your right knee and toes are pointing forward. You're all there. Tall upper body, outstretched arms. Side angle pose. We're going to follow the right arm forward to angle the upper half of the body. Good. Rotate your arms here so your right arm or right hand reaching downward while your left hand's reaching up. That's it. You can stay as high up as you'd like for this posture. You can certainly gradually go lower or deeper. Maybe your hand or fingertips will touch the floor or a block. Nice. Wherever you are, just want to experience this opening sensation through the chest, your hips. Yeah. Good. Breathe in. It's one of our lunges. As we exhale, we'll turn, fold, bring your hands down to the floor. And just step all the way back to down dog, meaning the foot comes to the floor, hips to the sky, so downward facing. Other side, inhale to extend left leg up into the air behind you. Reach, extend, and we'll open the hip, bending the knee. So the heel will come down toward your backside, a little bend, and then a lift of that knee, creating that automatic opening of the hip towards the left side of the room there. Excellent. Good. Breathe in right where you are. And exhale to unwind the body. Stepping left foot to the top of the mat. Take your time with that as you need to. Right heel turns to the floor. Weight shift in that back foot. Hands are light. Go ahead and rise up when you're ready. Inhale. First warrior. Exhale, opening to your right side of the room. Warrior two. Good. You can adjust the feet mainly for balance. That's it. Even checking in with that back knee. If you need to turn your foot in a different direction to protect your knee joint, that's advised. Here's our side angle pose. Reaching forward, angled upper body. Rotate the arms. Reach up, reach down, and open. When we find ourselves holding postures like this, be sure to continue tapping into breath. A nice awareness of your breathing. Creating space and opening. Here we go. Breathing in, preparing the body to move. Exhale, turn and fold, hands down to the floor. Again, we'll just step back into down dog. Hips to the sky, foot to the ground. We're going to go down to the floor. So you can kneel down to take a seat, or you can hop forward, cross your legs and take a seat. Okay? Just going to find a seat and just scoot so you're sitting in the center of your mat. And then go ahead and carefully roll down onto your back. And once you're here, you can draw your knees into chest. Feel free to add movement here. Some circles or side-to-side motions just to massage the back and hips. And since your feet are free here, you might want to circle the ankles. If you can, wiggle your toes. Deep breaths. Ready for bridge pose, a back bend. So you're going to set your feet onto the floor, knees bent. When you're ready, take a full breath in, filling up your lungs. Exhale, empty the belly. Feel that core engagement. Once you've established that energy, lifting hips up into the air. You can just lift and just kind of hold here. We can add on to this. One thing you might do is maybe rock your upper body left and right several times in order to get your shoulders and arms a bit underneath you. Okay. For a little more support, you can even use your hands to help lift yourself up or hold yourself up, or even bend your arms at 90 degrees and press your elbows or triceps and shoulders down into the floor to help lift and open the upper body, front body. There you go. Nice. Yes, very active posture, this back bend and heart opener. As you're able, take 3 more breaths here, sending that breath right up to the collarbones, the high portions of the lungs here. To come out, you're going to wiggle the feet forward a little bit, extend your arms up into the air to get your shoulders out from underneath you, and then that will make space so you can roll your way back down to the floor. After that soft landing, extend the body, extend your legs out front, reach your arms behind you, just reach in these opposite directions. Big stretch. From here, when you're ready, draw knees into chest, rock forward and backward, and rise up to seated. Now you can rock your way up to seated or even roll to one side and press yourself up to seated if you need to. Okay? We're coming to boat pose, Navasana. So here, it's a sitting position. You can even start like this. I like to teach it this way sometimes. Sit up nice and tall as if your back was up against a wall with knees bent, feet on the floor, and kind of hold onto the knees. And just feel yourself really lift. Inhale with that lift. Exhale, engage your core. Pull belly in. As if you're in a reclining chair, you pull the little lever, you know, your lazy boy, right there, and then you kind of take it back. Okay? You can just stay just like this. You can certainly go further. Okay? You can't even step the feet closer towards yourself, finding that balance so the feet float into the air. You can still hold on. But see if you can maintain that lengthened spine. Check in with your chin. Just lift your chin a little bit. You'd probably be looking more at the upper wall. Okay? So the neck is in the same alignment as the spine. So we're finding that length. So we're forming a V shape. Boat pose is a V shape. We just happen to have the knees bent. You certainly could extend the legs if you wanted to. And we like to hold this for like 20 minutes. We're going to breathe in, and the exhale will cross legs, if you can, hands in front or even just to the side, so you can get the feet back behind you, plank pose. You might even still feel that core connection. Pull belly button up towards spine, feel that energy in your arms, and then finish the push-up as you'd like. Chaturanga Dandasana, up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Let's inhale, extend right leg straight up, keep it straight, and then exhale, right foot to the top of the mat. We're going to a high lunge this time. So left heel will stay lifted behind you. All 10 toes will be pointing forward. You still need to find that center so you can hinge from hips, light hands, so you can rise up, reach up. So we're in this lunge. Reach high and then lunge. Just kind of sink into this. Okay? You certainly can have more distance between the feet, okay? Or shorten the distance if you need to. With that back leg, yes, we're getting to that left hip flexor. And actually hug in towards center. Imagine you've got a block between your knees and you're squeezing it. Okay, yeah. To help you hold this posture. Okay? Now, knees are probably bent, especially that front knee. We're going to lift to help straighten the legs for the most part. Pivot or turn that left heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways and bring your arms to parallel. Both legs will remain straight. We're setting ourselves up for triangle. Okay, now if the legs or feet are too far apart, you can certainly bring them a little closer together for this pose. Now, let's reach out over that right leg. And the leg is straight, reaching out, tip it over. So we're getting into that hamstring. You don't have to go down too low. Again, just enough where you feel that lengthening quality. Down through the leg. Good. Just like our side angle pose, when the knee is bent, there's an opening for the front body. To come out of this posture, you're going to bend this right knee, a good lunge, and then rise up, passing through a warrior two, and reverse the warrior, where your right hand is, reaching into the air. Good lift. It could be straight up. It might be slightly forward. Yes, you can certainly reach somewhat behind you. I like to support my side and hips by putting left hand on hip, reaching, lunging. So you're reaching up with this hand, right knee still kind of lunging forward. Then a big windmill to the front of the room, front of the mat, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Finish the sequence as you'd like. Meeting together in a downward facing dog. Take the opportunity in your down dog to really feel the full extension of the spine. And you can do that by putting a little bit more of a bend in your knees. That puts mobility in your hips, yes. And they'll lift and you'll extend. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg up behind you. Exhale, left foot to the top of the mat, going to a high lunge on this side. So right heel will stay lifted, shifting the weight back. Hands are light. Hinge from hips, rising. You're already hugging to midline, holding onto the imaginary block between the knees to help you balance, to hinge your way up. You're reaching and lunging, moving in these opposite directions and to center. Good. Yeah, wider stance will really help to get into that back leg, that hip flexor. Okay. Let's rise up, straightening the legs a bit. Pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways. Arms come down to parallel. Legs are straight here. Shorten the distance between the feet if you need to. Perfectly fine for triangle. Yeah, and reach out, tip it over. That's it. Excellent. Aware of how this feels. Find breath. Feel or even just imagine you're sending breath through the body, or especially to those sensations that you're experiencing in your body. To come out of the pose, we'll bend the left knee, create a good lunge, really for leverage to help us come back up, pass through your warrior two, reverse your warrior, same thing, just reaching into the air. It could be slightly forward, straight up, or even slightly behind you. As we reach, we're lunging at the same time. Lengthening and opening through that left side body. And then a big windmill all the way around to the front. Hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Again, flow, move as you'd like. We'll meet together in downward facing dog. Good. Just pause here. Bring your knees to the floor. As you're able, sit back into hero pose. This is hero. Or one version of hero pose. If you can sit like this for the duration, that's fine, or even just for a breath or two. If this is not comfortable, because it's not very comfortable, you can always just sit on the floor. Just sit and just watch, okay, for a moment, while I demonstrate this next little piece. So we're going to get into our first squat, okay? I just call it a yogi squat. And so eventually from this pose, just watch, you'll come back to a downward facing dog. You might even have a block nearby. So what you'll do, you'll hop forward, you'll land with your feet wide, with the toes turned out, knees will bend, and then you'll sit. And this is the squat. Now you can stay up high like this and just keep hands on the floor, or go down a bit and maybe use a block, something to sit on right there. Or maybe you don't need the block and you can just go right into the pose, okay? It's nice, the block actually helps with balance if it's hard to just sit like this. Don't worry if you can't get the feet on the floor flat like this. If you take the feet wider, that might happen, okay? If they're closer together, you might be on your toes. This is fine too, okay? Then once we're in the posture, when I'm first in the pose, like just getting here, my back just wants to curl around like this. We want to do like we did in that boat pose, extend the spine. So what you'll do is take your elbows, kind of press in the inner legs as some leverage to help extend, kind of telescope through the spine to get nice and tall here. We'll bring hands to heart. Okay, so this will be our yogi squat. We'll hold here for a bit. Okay, this will get us prepped for our crow pose. Okay, I'll demonstrate that later, but let's get into this one. So let's come back out to downward facing dog, and if you were in that hero pose for all that time, once you're in down dog, you might want to pedal the feet, kind of get into your toes a little bit, a little counter stretch. Alrighty. Okay, follow these instructions. With an exhale, you'll hop forward, landing with your feet wide, knees bent, toes turned out, and lower your hips, either all the way down or partially down or even down to a block to sit on. Yeah, bring in that block. That's it. Good. Take your time, even if you're kind of high up and if you're kind of in this position for a bit, that's fine. And you can even just stay like this and still extend the spine. Just fingers on the floor and just kind of protrude, just go forward, telescope through. Okay? Or leverage those elbows against the inner legs to help extend through the spine. Yes, that's good. Yes. Breathe. Say again?
Will we do this, repeat this pose?
Yeah, several times. We'll be coming back to this pose. All right, 3 more breaths. After that 3rd breath, maybe hands to the floor. If you're sitting on a block, just lift so you can move that block. Just hands out in front of you, out onto the mat. Just step back, just straighten the lines in the body. Just come to a plank pose. Energize the body again. Press into the floor, strong arms. Shortcut to down dog. Bend your knees, hips into the sky. Good. Let's flow. Inhale, extend right leg up behind you. Reach, bend, and twist. That's the bend of the knee. A little lift of the knee to help open the hip. And then unwind it, step through, right foot to the top of the mat, back to a warrior 1. Once you've landed, turn left heel to the floor behind you, find that centering, rise when you're ready, take your time. Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Maybe a bit wider in the stance if you'd like. Yeah, more distance between the feet. Side angle pose, reach forward, tip it over, stay up high, go down low, whatever feels good at this moment. We're still moving, breathe in. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. We're taking it right back to down dog, sweeping the right foot or leg up in the air. Okay, so it's down dog, right leg again in the air, straight line. Right foot returns to the top of the mat, this time to a high lunge. Left heel stays lifted, all 10 toes pointing forward, hinge from hips, rising up, reach up, lunge low. Keep that good energy, hug to center. Okay, we're going to triangle, so we're shooting straight up to straighten the legs. Pivot left heel to the floor. You'll turn sideways, arms to parallel. Adjust the feet and the distance between them if you need to. Yes, triangle, reach out, tip it over. Good. Nice. Hold this for a couple more breaths just so we can just get into this leg stretch. This affects the hips here too. All right, let's bend the right knee, good lunge for leverage. Coming up, pass through your warrior 2, reverse your warrior, reach up, slightly behind you if you'd like. Make sure you're lunging at the same time. Okay, here's our windmill, down to the floor. We're just gonna step back into down dog, both feet on the floor. Okay, we're gonna return to that yogi squat. So again, hop forward. Land with feet wide, toes turned out, knees bent. Take a seat. Okay, use those props. Arms to the inner legs. Hands to heart center. Great hip opener. Again, if your feet are closer together, it's okay. If you're on your toes, heels can be lifted. Okay, if that feels a little bit better for the body today. Okay, try this with me right where you are. Okay, just going to take the hands have the palms face forward, just like that, and just bring the hands to the floor slightly forward. We have to just you will naturally just kind of fall into your hands. You just lean into the hands here. So not directly underneath you, but somewhat forward. So you have to lean and fall, and you'll feel the legs rest or lean heavily against your bent arms. Okay. And then extend the spine. Just stay here, just extend the spine. So we're kind of building up to crow. We're not quite there yet, but this is a nice building block. And the heels might be slightly lifted. That's fine if they're still planted. Okay? Relax, step the hands forward, lift the hips, move your block, step back, plank pose, straight line. Energy in the body. Finish your push-up if you'd like. Coming down, knees to the floor first if need be. Yeah, any version of a flow to get you to down dog. You can skip all this. Okay, then the other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, bend your knee, a little lift of the knee to open up through the hip. There it is. And we'll unwind, step through, left foot to the top of the mat. Nice, good landing. Right heel to the floor, so it's warrior one. Right heel to the floor, rising up. Exhale, opening to your warrior two. Maybe more distance between the feet. Side angle, reach out, rotate. Okay, maybe fingertips are getting closer to the floor. They still don't need to touch the floor, but maybe you're getting a little closer. In motion, breathe in. Exhale, turn, fold, hands to the floor, back to down dog. Just going to slide or sweep that left foot back and up, return to a down dog position with left leg in the air, straight line, energetically. High lunge with an exhale, step through, left foot to the top of the mat, right heel will stay lifted, find your center. You'll know it because your hands will be light. Hinge from the hips, rising up. Okay, reach up, lunge low, hug to center with legs, belly, even your hands. Okay, shooting straight up, straightening the legs, pivot right heel to the floor, arms to parallel, set up for triangle. You can change the distance here, triangle pose. Yes. A couple more breaths. Really feel the lengthening that's happening in the hamstrings, more opening in the hips at this kind of tipped over position. And then lunging, bend that left knee for leverage so you can come back up, pass through your warrior two, reverse your warrior left hand into the air. Okay, reaching and lunging. So you open up through the side body. Here we go. Here comes our windmill again, bringing hands to the floor. Step back into down dog, both feet on the floor. And it's your return to that yogi squat. Okay, hop forward, landing with feet wide. Toes turned out, bent knees, take a seat. Yes. Okay, first we're just getting into that sensation. Okay, use that leverage, find extension through the spine. If you need balance, sit on the block or hands on the floor, whatever you need here. Because ideally, once we get into crow pose, you're basically just taking this posture that you're in, this is your head, and we're tipping it. Okay, we want to keep that angle and straight line if possible. We're just tipping that scale. Let's take our next step, okay? So just as before, hands, palms forward, hands to the floor, slightly forward, so you actually have to lean, okay? Leaning far enough where the heels do lift, okay? So just maybe come up onto tiptoes a little bit. Check in, look at your arms, they're nicely bent. Good bend in the elbows, okay? And make sure the legs, okay, the knees, the inner knees here are resting on your triceps, not your elbows, your triceps, so above the joint. So if that means rising up on your tiptoes more, do that, yes? Then as you're able, lean forward more, so there's more weight of the legs on the triceps. You're up on your tiptoes. This is another step towards your crow. Okay, that's as far as we're going to take it for now. Okay, lean back. Let's come out of this pose. Hands can step forward, step back, kind of a crawling action here, just to lengthen. Strong body. Finish your flow. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog, yes. Downward facing dog. Again, once you're in down dog, soft knees, hips lift a little higher, even press the hands more firmly into the ground. Keep that energy in the arms, shoulders. Feel the chest kind of sink a little bit. 2 more breaths. You're good. Good. Then we'll take a rest. Bring your knees to the floor. I'm just going to take a seat. So you don't have to sit in hero, actually take a regular seat. Bring the legs around to the front. Let's start in cobbler's pose, actually, so bound angle. So the knees can bend, soles of the feet touch. Either hold onto your feet or ankles or shins, okay? And just hold here. Don't worry if the knees don't touch the ground, because they certainly don't have to. All righty. I'm going to demonstrate kind of the next step of that crow pose. Now these steps that we're adding, you can pause at any of those steps. Okay? We'll probably get, I'll be changing up the sequence a little bit, but we still will end up here. Present the palms, down, forward. I'm just taking them way out, so I literally have to lean out into the hands here. Really spread out the fingers. Good base. Rising up on tiptoes, I'm checking in. Don't want the knees down at the elbows. I want the legs up high, triceps close to the shoulder. Okay, and then I lean right there. Now as I want to continue to shoot forward, head will go forward, go down as the hips go up. So that's that hinge in trying to kind of tip that scale, right? And as I tip, again, you can pause at any point. You can still use the ground. Just keep your toes on the floor. But if you're going to go a little further, I'm going to suggest the legs here, you're going to squeeze. Let me turn this way so you can see this too. Okay? Squeeze the legs in. Okay? If they fall, you're going to fall. And the elbows will bow out. If you squeeze in, everything stays tightly in. So I'm squeezing legs in, keeps the elbows in. Core is engaged, extending spine, and maybe take one foot and the other off the floor. Or keep one foot on the floor and maybe just try to lift one and put it down, lift the other. That's crow. We'll come down, same thing to get out of it. Okay? So you've been in, it's easy. Let's extend the legs here. Okay, take the legs out front. Let's just do another little hamstring stretch. Yeah, you can shake that out. First, staff pose, just to energize, hands on the floor. By your hips, just press. Again, lifting. Roll shoulders back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Flex the feet so the legs are energized here. A couple breaths. This is staff pose. Then we'll take a fold, not holding it too long. Let's inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, start to hinge a little bit forward. Bring the hands down, just let them land wherever they land. Inhale, more extension of the spine at this angle. Exhale, pull belly in, maybe. Walk down the legs a step, hinge. And for me, this is as far as I need to go. I feel this. Okay, I can touch my toes. You don't have to. Hands could be at your shins or ankles. And you don't have to fold very far. Yes, you certainly can drop the head and round your back to go a little deeper. That's fine. But you don't have to force the fold. No need to force the lengthening that's happening in the hamstrings, because that really is just causing more stress. 3 more breaths. After the third breath, reach forward with the free hands. Inhale, hinge from hips rise up. Return to that nice L shape. Exhale, hands to the floor. Right there for staff. Soften. Let's lean back. Let's set up for that boat pose like we did earlier. Okay, we'll start up like we did before. Feet on the floor, flexed feet, bent knees, hold on to the knees. Sit up tall, okay, flat up against a wall. Lazy boy recliner. Take it back. Lift the chin, long neck. Stay here because this is perfect. So what I like about this version is that you can probably hold this longer and really work your core. You can certainly challenge it. Lean back more, lift the feet, free the hands. Lots of things you can do. Straighten the legs. This is where I tend to practice this pose. Here we go. Breathe in. Lift. Exhale. Cross. Hands in front or to the side. Hop or step back plank pose. Shortcut to down dog or full vinyasa. Finishing the push-up into an up dog. Finishing in down dog. Okay, same sequence, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. Okay, first our basic flow. An inhale, extend right leg up. Right leg bend and twist open as you did before. That's it. Unwind it. Step through. Right foot to the top of the mat. All this. Take your time. Heel to the floor behind you, so it's warrior one. Rising when you're ready. Opening to warrior two. Challenge yourself. Maybe take the feet a little wider. Side angle. Reach out. Rotate the arms. That's it. There. There it is. Maybe the fingertips are just barely touching the floor now. Opening up as you inhale. Just open the heart. As you exhale, turn, fold, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Just sweep that right foot back and up into the air. Strong straight line. Return it right away to the top of the mat. High lunge. High lunge. Left heel stays lifted. Rising. Yeah, find your center first, then rise. There it is. Yeah. Lift, lunge, hug. Okay? All those motions. Then rise to straighten the legs. Pivot left heel to the floor. Turn sideways, arms to parallel. Okay, stay there. Stay there. This is different. Okay, turn your right foot so it's facing the left side of the room here. So I call this a star shape, okay? You're going to inhale and feel tall and reach the arms out. As you exhale, draw belly in, soften the knees, and then fold. And maybe your hands or fingertips reach the ground. Inhale, rise 2 fingertips to help extend the spine, leading it forward, lengthen spine, and exhale, refold. So just another way to stretch the hamstrings, even more portions and parts of the legs because the legs are wide here. Yes. Breathe. There you go. Mm-hmm. We're going to add a lunge and a squat to this. A couple more breaths right where you are. Okay, and then kind of soften the pose. You might rise up a little bit, okay, but still fold, but just kind of lift a little bit. Now that left foot, just going to turn it outward, okay? Turn the leg out because you're going to lunge to that side. You're going to bend that left knee, okay? But look at your front leg. Okay, because you're going to spin those toes up. Your heel is on the floor. Yes. Okay. There we are. So you might be high up. That's fine. Just stay up on the fingertips. Heel, this whole left foot might be on the floor. It doesn't have to be. You might be up on your tiptoes. Okay. You might even be low and deep enough, you know, to sit on the floor. That's so easy.
That's so nice.
Alrighty. Yes, that's fun, isn't it? Okay. Okay. Press, lift yourself back up. Okay. And then walk your hands over towards the right foot. You're going to turn those toes forward, even adjust that back foot. Going to warrior one. So set up your feet and legs for warrior one. And then rise into warrior one. Right there. Yeah? Hinge and fold. Hands to the floor, step back, downward facing dog, both feet on the ground. Okay, so we're going back to our Yogi Squat to set up for crow. Hop forward, land with feet wide. You can even step back. You don't have to come all the way to the top of the mat. You can even be a little bit more center on your mat so you have some pad, some space out in front of you, yeah? Okay, let's find our squat, get into that. Nice lengthened spine, prepped for your crow. Present the palms, palms down, step forward so you can lean into the hands, bent elbows, rise up on tiptoes so the legs lift so they rest more on the triceps rather than the elbows. Lean farther forward. Arms will kind of bend like you're in chaturanga, okay? And then squeeze the legs into the arms. Kind of bracing yourself in that position. Rise to tiptoes. Stay like that or keep sending body weight forward, head forward. So the toes maybe lift up off the ground, maybe one at a time. There you go. Good, Alex. Okay. Come back down to the earth. Yes. Hands in front. Step back. Plank. Straighten the line. Re-extend with a strong body. Chaturanga Dandasana. Yes. dog. There's your back bend, downward facing. Excellent. Other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air. Bend and twist. Basic flow. Unwind, step through. Warrior one. Take your time. Right heel to the floor behind you, rising when you're ready. Yep. Exhale, opening, warrior two. Challenging yourself, taking the feet a bit wider. Then your side angle pose. Just getting into those lunges, those legs, those hips. Gradually, that's why I like to repeat stuff. Okay, here we go. Breathe in. Exhale, we'll carefully turn, fold, hands to the floor. Return to down dog. Sweep that left foot back and up into the air, straight line. Left foot to the top of the mat, high lunge. Right heel stays lifted. Find your center. Hinge your way up. That's a lot of thigh and hip work right there, and core work. Okay, reach up, lunge low, squeeze to center. Yes. Rising to straighten the legs a bit. Pivot, right heel to the floor, turn sideways, arms to parallel. Okay, let's turn this into our star shape. That's turning the left foot to face the wall. Adjust the feet as need be, so they are mostly aligned right there. Inhale, reach out with the arms, feel tall. Exhale, pull belly in, bend the knees, soften the knees. That'll protect your back as you fold. Make your way down, full fold. Inhale just to re-extend the spine. Rise to fingertips, and then fold again. Hold. Now, the body's been here before, so feel free to take the feet a bit wider if that feels okay, and even add on to this if you want to put a little twist or a lunge to one side than the other. If you're so inclined to take another arm balancing posture or even a headstand here, you're certainly welcome to. I like wide-legged forward folds because it targets more of the leg, not only the hamstrings, but the inner and outer portion of the legs. 3 more breaths. We're going to get ready for that lunge and squat. Okay. Let's soften the pose a little bit, so rise up to fingertips so you're not so deep in the fold. Your right foot, you might want to spin it out a little bit so you can bend that knee and lunge. Okay, as you extend the left leg. Again, you may not go all the way down. That's fine if you don't. Maybe this is enough right here. Or maybe you're going a little lower. It's okay if you're on your toes on that right foot. Okay, you might have both hands in front, like I have them at the moment. Or you can bring one hand behind that left leg. That's a deep stretch. Yes, yes, yes. Good, you guys. Breathe. I know it's a deep one. Breathe. 2 more. Alrighty. Hands in front so you can start to lift up out of that lunge and squat. Then walk your hands over towards the left foot as you spin those toes forward. Lunging. Adjust that back foot. Okay, so we're getting ourselves set up for warrior one. Whenever you've got that positioning, go ahead and rise, warrior one. And fold, hands back down. Step back, down dog, both feet on the floor. Back to our yogi squat. You can just hop to the center of your mat and take the squat so you have some space out front. Yes. Okay. Find that extended spine, nice hip opener. Prep for your crow. Palms to the floor, lean into the hands, lifting the heels. Make sure the legs are high enough on the legs, closer to the shoulders. Squeeze, actually you're squeezing the legs and arms together. Squeeze them into each other, probably a better way of presenting that. Kind of shooting yourself forward, keeping that spinal extension. Core certainly engaged. Okay. Just shifting the center of gravity so that maybe the toes can lift. All right. There we are, good job. That's it. Okay. Let's come back to the earth. Hands in front, hop or step back, plank pose, straight line. Chaturanga Dandasana. Up dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Good. Couple breaths right there. Feel the nicely extended spine. And we'll make our way down to the earth. You can kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross your legs and take a seat. And as we did earlier, roll down onto your back. Draw knees into chest. Massage. Take advantage. A lot of work. A lot of work in the hips, feet, core, your legs, your back. All right. Let's take an inverted pose. I'm going to give you several options for this. You're lying on your back at the moment. You can simply just extend the legs straight up into the air for your inversion, so your legs are just up in the air, so your legs can extend up like that. Or bring your feet to the floor, prep for a bridge, where you would grab a block, lift your hips, slide the block underneath you and sit on the block, and then extend your legs. It just elevates the hips a little bit. You might even feel a bit more comfortable, at least it does for me, to be elevated before extending the legs up. Yeah. Or you can take shoulder stand, okay, where you roll a little bit and take the legs and hips into the air, where you literally just kind of sit in your hands. Yes. And just feel that nice extension all the way up, or partially up. You can have a bend, a good bend in the body. You don't have to go straight line with this. Very nice. Good energy in the legs as they reach towards the sky. If you happen to be in shoulder stand, optional, you can take Plow Pose, where the feet come down behind you towards the floor. You might even just bend the knees, where your knees come down towards your forehead. Okay, you can check it out, see how it feels, but you can always come out of it. I usually like to do this pose with more support, so you don't have to do this pose. Three more breaths. After the third breath, you're just going to make your way back down to the earth. Okay? So the legs are in the air, just bring the feet to the floor. Make your way all the way down, and then stretch. Extend the legs out front, reach the arms behind you. Actively reach, make space. Even add a little movement to this if it feels good. To finish, you can just bring your arms down to your side and relax here in Shavasana. However, if you feel the body needs a little bit more to help complete your practice, feel free to take any other pose. It might be a twist to both sides, another hip opener, a back bend. Okay, yeah, just take a few moments as you need to. Just kind of check in with your body, listen, and then respond appropriately. If it's ready for the rest, come to Shavasana or any other relaxing pose. For the next several minutes, you have time to add those additional movements if you like. But be sure to give yourself at least a few minutes in complete stillness and relaxation. Return to the awareness of your breath. Simply be aware that you are breathing. And with this awareness, take 5 slow, steady breaths. Feeling energy return to your body. Beginning to feel movement return to your body. A very engaging practice. Notice how you feel. Ready to move, take your time and carefully roll onto either side of your body, just making your way to a nurturing pose. Just hold here for a moment. Take another full and complete breath here. And then use your next breath to help guide your way up to seated. And just find a comfortable seat. You might cross your legs. Sitting up tall with a lengthened spine. Relax shoulders and arms. Your hands can rest in your lap or bring hands to heart center, either one. And take another full and complete breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste. Thank you for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. We certainly hope you enjoyed the practice. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Thank you so much. Namaste.